Next Thursday, Woj dropped a bomb regarding Nets star guard Kyrie Irving, tweeting that Irving has told the Nets he wants to be traded ahead of the deadline. Woj added there were some talks on a new contract for Irving, but no deal was reached, and Irving's trade request was sent to the franchise. Kyrie can leave the Nets this summer as a free agent. You know what this did. It sent social media into a frenzy.
There we go.
And the Kings certainly helping or not helping, depending on what side you're on. LeBron tweeting this shortly after the Kyrie news broke. An eyes watching emoji and a crown. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to turn to you, Mike Trudell. We begin with you. Thoughts, my friend, on this?
Well, Allie, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn this straight back to you because you've known LeBron for longer than I have. And so you've been around, Channing Frye and Richard Jefferson. You speak the language. So, Allie, please, you tell me, what does that mean?
At this point, I have no idea. And I actually put on Twitter today, and I said, Twitter, not today. Not today, please, Twitter. I don't know what this means. I really don't. So I guess I'm like everyone else, and I'm just going to sit back and watch. But if there is an opportunity to upgrade your roster from a basketball standpoint, Kyrie Irving is one heck of a player. And I think we both know that. You, my friend, Mike Trudell, watch a lot of basketball.
Well, so Kyrie is good at basketball. There's no doubt about that. I think I'll just answer this the same way that I would almost any trade rumor that has come up or anything that comes up in here, is that it's not just about, what the player is that is rumored to be going somewhere. It's about what is going back. And often that is not known because only the teams that might be discussing a deal, whether this is the Lakers and whoever, they're discussing a deal with. And that's always what I want to know. So how does it impact the roster this year? How does it impact the salary cap? How does it impact the possibility of future moves? But I will say this. With Anthony Davis back healthy, and we didn't know for sure how the foot was going to respond, it does give you a feeling if you're Rob Pelinka maybe, or LeBron James, or all the way down to Max Christie on the roster, that this team could do something. Without AD, as Darvin Ham told us, Brez, after the last game, that is much less possible.
Yeah.
And so does that give you a little bit more internal ammo to try and make a move, be it a big move or a small move? Like, would you consider Rui Hachimura a small move? Well, I don't know. It might be a big move, the way that he's played. So it all depends on what's going in, what's coming out, Mike.
The Lakers have such a fascinating thing to think about over the next 6 days. Keep in mind, next Thursday, noon Pacific, that's the official trade deadline. But Kyrie will be a free agent in less than 6 months. And what's this? The Lakers could have about 30 to 35 million in spending cash. What does Kyrie make this year? About 37 million. So if the Lakers want to part with draft picks and some players to make sure you get Kyrie in the fold now, okay, you might be able to do that. Or do you just wait? And when you get him in July, possibly, free agency deal, no draft picks, no players going out the door. It really is a fascinating thing for the Lakers to have to mull fairly quickly. There's not a lot of time. It's not like Kyrie said, a month ago, hey, get me moved by February 9th. Here we are well into the first few days of February. And he says, yeah, by the way, next week, I want to be out of here. So not a lot of time. And by the way, the Lakers are not competing against themselves. The Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, maybe even the Miami Heat, rumored to also be in the mix to try to get a player like Kyrie Irving. So maybe you take a gamble and you don't trade for him now, but there's no guarantee that he will not re-sign with the team that does indeed trade for him in July.
Yeah, certainly the Lakers aren't the only one who are going to be in pursuit, but there are only a handful of teams that are likely able to get this done. How likely do you think that the Lakers are to be able to put together a package, Mike Trudell, if you will?
Yeah, I think that it's clear that the Lakers can put together something. I mean, in some teams could beat it, right, in certain contexts, and other teams couldn't. It all just depends on what the team that might be trading a player is willing to part with. And, Brez, I think, brings up the right point is how many players are out there that can be acquired. Let's say the Lakers were to include both of their picks. How many players are out there that you could get to come in and give the requisite salary back that really give a legit chance to win the title, versus how does that outweigh what could happen in the offseason for somebody walking into space, which, by the way, is how the Lakers got LeBron James. And that, to me, was the first domino into how they won the title. Because you can't trade all of your stuff, which they did to get Anthony Davis, if you don't already have a superstar that has come to you without having to part with those types of assets. So there's a lot going on there, and I think that it's going to be probably a difficult decision, regardless of if it's a big one or if it's a small one. Because the West it's a lot unknown right now. A lot of good teams, not necessarily a great team, and that might keep a lot of teams, Allie, interested in making a move that they're sacrificing things for the future for.
A difficult decision indeed, which is why I will not sit up here and try to depict the emojis on Twitter today. I've learned over the years. Brez, I do want to add, though, if it is not, because the trade deadline is February 9th, it is coming up. So if it is not a deal involving that of Kyrie Irving, I'm going to play a little game with you, and I like this that you gave us, a reach and then a more realistic choice.
It's kind of like me when I was coming out of high school. You know, you have a couple colleges that are kind of reaches, like the Ivy Leagues or Northwestern, which, by the way, Mike Trudeau got into, so congrats to him for that. And then you have some that are much more attainable. So we're going to drop Kyrie for this conversation. I think a reach might be a Bojan Bogdanovic. I'd like to see him come to the Lakers. Very good sharpshooter with the Detroit Pistons. Decent rebounder. He gives you another, kind of like a 3-4. Can play a little power forward for sure. But he's probably going to cost a first-round draft picks. So that could be an issue. Maybe even two if Detroit has a high asking price. That guy right there is kind of my more sure thing for the Lakers. Eric Gordon, by the way, a former Rob Pelinka client, so Rob's definitely familiar with what he can bring to the game. Later in his career, he is, no doubt about it. He's probably not going to cost a first-rounder. Maybe another couple second-rounders, which, by the way, the Lakers have plenty of still. Despite giving up 3 Rui recently, they have plenty of second-rounders. So if you want the reach, it's going to cost you. Eric Gordon might be more of a sure thing. You probably get away with just some second-rounders. So we'll have to see what they do with those.
To your point, a veteran and a shooter.
There you go. Last minute. What did you like most about him last night?
Man, I saw the Lakers give him a heart attack. They like the cardiac kids lately. But you know what I liked about AD? He had a big block, had a big bucket, and had a big rebound. 3 for. Everybody don't think about the rebound that he got at the end of the game because it could have got tipped in, but he grabbed the rebound and he got the block. And so many things he did great down the stretch. 31 points. That means he's rounded into shape. Even he said it in the interviews, he's starting to get his legs on him. So I'm happy that he's getting that way. And I'm happy he didn't make the All-Star game because now he gets to get off his feet and get some rest.
Yeah, he said his wife is even excited about that. She's already texted him, where are we going to go on vacation? So kind of a win-win there for AD, I guess. Let's talk about Pat Bev as well. He said after the game he was kind of inspired by an interview that Halliburton gave a few months ago, kind of criticizing Pat a little bit. Had a big steal of Halliburton in the final minutes, a big 3. Now, Pat also missed a couple free throws late, but still, really good game for him.
It's always funny. Every athlete looks for something to inspire themselves each and every night. And I think Pat Bev was looking for some inspiration there, but he's always a pest. He's always playing good defense. And people going to look at the steal that he got that was a call that the ref had to go to and review and overturn it in Pat Bev's favor. I'm not even looking at the foul. I'm looking at the hands he had in the corner to put the Pacers in a bad position because where they got the ball out of bounds was like dead man's zone. So it was one of those really good plays where Pat Bev, using his hands, and then that trap at the end was great also.
Whatever it takes to fire you up, right?
Yeah, you have to do that.
LeBron did his thing, 26 points. He's now 63 away from passing Kareem. When's it going to happen? It's going to happen Saturday against New Orleans? Probably not. Next Tuesday against OKC or next Thursday against Milwaukee?
I'm going with Milwaukee. I think he's going to be the first bucket he gets in a game of Milwaukee, he breaks the record. That's how close he's going to be, because you think about it. When you and I played, 63 points was a lot of points. Yeah. But for him, that's 2 games. But I think the third game is he's going to break it early. That's just what I'm going with.
Thank you for including me in playing in your generation, in your era. I appreciate that. We were kind of worlds apart there. And last question, back to AD real quickly. Was that a snub for him? A couple decent guys taken ahead of him on the reserves. Sabonis, Paul George, just 2 of the big men chosen ahead of him. And Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. That one kind of caught me by surprise.
I think marketing Jaren Jackson. Those two guys caught me by surprise. But you got to think about it. Jaren Jackson has been playing good basketball. We don't talk about Memphis because everything gets talked about Ja Morant and what he does on the court, the way he dunks on people. But he's always an excellent three-point shooter. He's one of the top shot blockers in the league. He does a lot of things that go unrecognized because it's not the sexy stuff. And Sabonis, he's the same way. He just does a lot of things in Sacramento. But for me, I'm always happy when you see new faces in the All-Star game. But we all know, fourth quarter, they won't be playing. It's going to be the superstars, the guys like LeBron, Giannis going down the stretch.
You mentioned